Your journey from headquarters was not a pleasant one. The tumultuous rains, fierce wind, and lack of streetlights made it near impossible to arrive at your destination, Charnel Manor. You pass through the wrought iron gate and pull up the long, paved drive bordered by marble statues of men in various heroic poses. As you arrive at the apex of the lane, a stately man approaches your car and opens the door for you.
Inspector, you are most expected. Please come with me.
The middle-aged man leads you through the front entrance and into an opulent foyer garnished with lavish tapestries and large paintings of differing landscapes.
May I take your coat, Inspector?
The gentleman reaches out his hand as you graciously thank him for his service. As the man hangs up your coat, he begins to explain the reason you were called to the scene.
Pardon me for being rude. I am Earl, head butler here at Charnel Manor. The Colonel Adolphus Charnel III was host to a formal engagement this evening. Among those invited were his closest family members, business associates, friends, and employees. The Colonel was unable to have children during his lifetime, so his main agenda for the evening was to name the heir to his legacy, and of course, vast fortune. One by one, the guests arrived promptly at 6 o'clock. Cocktails were made available in the lounge, while everyone greeted each other and conversed. Dinner was served at 7:30, and afterwards, the guests were escorted to the parlor, where the announcement was to be made.
As Earl speaks, you look about the halls of this grandiose mansion. Earl continues to lead you down the hall to the morbid scene.
The guests made their way to the parlor and sat while the Colonel stood in front. He began.
I feel that we have had enough frivolity for the evening, and it's time we get down to business. As I stated before, I am in need of an heir, someone who will take the reins of industry after I'm gone. And after careful consideration throughout the course of the evening, I have made my final decision. The heir to Charnel Manor, its inhabitants, investments, and financial status will be...
The light snapped off. I ran to attend to the fuse box and saw the breaker has been tripped. I quickly flicked the switch back into place and sprinted back to the parlor. And that's where I saw this.
You reach the parlor entrance and carefully pass through the doorway. There, surrounded by a group of shocked and silent party guests, lies the Colonel Adolphus Charnel III, dead. You ask Earl to bring in all the employees that were present that day to the parlor. Earl complies with your request and vanishes out of the room. A few moments later, Earl returns to the room with the employees of the manor. You ask everyone, including Earl, to please sit down. The congregation of the room complies, and you address the crowd. As you can plainly see, the Colonel is dead. And from what I can detect by observing the body, his death was not accidental, nor was it natural. The Colonel was murdered. And one of you in this room is the murderer. Now, while I was on my way to Charnel Manor, I made sure that a squad of police officers would be in close pursuit to surround the area to protect the integrity of the scenario. So, you should very well know that if the guilty party or parties toy with the idea of fleeing the premises, you'll be swiftly apprehended and brought to justice. After your lecture, you give permission to the suspects the freedom to leave the parlor on the condition that they stay on the ground floor. You instruct a few of the accompanying officers to guard the exits and the stairways to ensure that all of the guests are relatively in one location. Where do you want to begin your investigation?